So now we're looking at the state Kentucky, the abbreviation KY, and our memory trick for the state was key. So I'm going to keep going with this idea of a key here. We have our endangered species, the pale zone shiner, appearing here much larger than he would appear in real life. So this part along the river is where it's more shallow and not as wide, and it's easy to cross. They call it a ford, F-O-R-D, but we're going to run with the idea of it being a fort instead of a ford, because I think fort is much more visual. Now, the reason Frankfort was named as the capital, there was an early settler. His name was Stephen Frank, and he was very beloved by the people who lived in this area with him. And apparently there was an incident, and Stephen Frank was killed by a Native American. And so the people of the area decided to name it Frank's Ford, meaning the ford in the river. But again, we're going to translate that into fort so that we can better remember it. And then you can think about the pale zone shiner carrying the key to the ford in the river, reminding us of Frankfort, Kentucky. There is no consensus on what Kentucky means. It's probably a Native American word, as to be expected. There are so many of them, wonderful, amazing words that come to us from Native American languages. This one possibly means meadow or prairie. But there you have it. It is Frankfort, Kentucky. The state of Tennessee, TN, we remember tune, and the tune that is played by Burke is such an amazing and lovely tune. Our northern pine snake here is very unhappy. He is gnashing his teeth before he hears the music, and then after he hears the music, he's extraordinarily peaceful and happy. So we think of tune, and what does that tune do? Takes away the gnashing of the teeth, or Nashville. We don't really know what Tennessee means. The meaning has been lost over the year, but Nashville was named after a Revolutionary War general named Francis Nash. So Nashville, Tennessee. Here's Alabama. AL reminds us of alligator. Alabama, the state name, came from a tribe in the area that had a similar name. We have Lookout Mountain here. We also have a pack of gum and a red mountain salamander. The alligator is sharing his gum with the red mountain salamander at Lookout Mountain. So Mont, or Mount Gomery, is our capital of Alabama. Mont means mountain, and the GOM makes me think of gum, and so hopefully we will remember Montgomery, Alabama. Here we have the state Mississippi. MS is the abbreviation. We think of Ms. as in Ms. Alligator. We put a magnolia flower here in the middle to remind us of that which is feminine, to kind of make it all hang together. Mississippi, we think, is a Native American word that means big river. And the capital, Jackson, in 1821, was named after the celebrated Major General in the United States Army. Here pictured on the $20 bill normally would be Andrew Jackson, same person, but here we've put his wife because we are continuing in this theme of it being feminine and Ms. So this is Mrs. Jackson. We have the magnolia flower that we put on the $20 bill, and then our endangered species this time is a plant. It's called Lindera melicifolia, commonly known as the southern spice bush. And I've chosen this one because the endophytes that are part of some plants, which is like a fungus that lives within the cells, can be used for research. This particular plant was used in hepatitis C research. So just to give you an idea of why we need every single species in our different environments, is we never know where we're going to find the next cure to some disease in our nation or in the world. So one of the main reasons why we are continuing to protect the endangered species. So Jackson, Mississippi. Here's Florida. The abbreviation FL, we think of the word flowing, as in the river. And we have our Barber's map turtle flowing down the river, and he's wearing a tall hat for Tallahassee. A little bit of a stretch there. The word Florida probably means land of flowers or feast of flowers in Spanish. Some websites attribute the name to Ponce de Leon, others not so much. The word Tallahassee is also a very old word used by the Appalachian Indians who lived in the area, possibly meaning old fields or old town. So the turtle with a tall hat reminds us of Tallahassee, Florida. First, we have Frank's Fort for Frankfort, Kentucky, the gnashing of the teeth for Nashville, Tennessee, Ms. Jackson for Jackson, Mississippi, the mountain with the gum for Montgomery, Alabama, and the tall hat on the turtle for Tallahassee, Florida. Let's take a look on the big map. Frankfort, Kentucky, Nashville, Tennessee, Jackson, Mississippi, Montgomery, Alabama, and Tallahassee, Florida. We have Olympia, Washington, Salem, Oregon, Sacramento, California, Cheyenne, Wyoming, Helena, Montana, Boise, Idaho, Carson City, Nevada, Denver, Colorado, Salt Lake City, Utah, Phoenix, Arizona, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Bismarck, North Dakota, Pierre, South Dakota, Lincoln, Nebraska, Topeka, Kansas, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and Austin, Texas. We have St. Paul, Minnesota, Des Moines, Iowa, Jefferson City, Missouri, Little Rock, Arkansas, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Madison, Wisconsin, Springfield, Illinois, Lansing, Michigan, Indianapolis, Indiana, Columbus, Ohio, Frankfort, Kentucky, Nashville, Tennessee, Jackson, Mississippi, Montgomery, Alabama, and Tallahassee, Florida.